Hey family, welcome back to another session of the Word on God's Table. My name is Geraldine. If you're seeing me for your first time, I'm so excited to talk to you today because this message, I believe, is going to help you make sense of where you are right now and where God is taking you. And if you see the title of this word that is coming out says that God is moving you from bad to good to perfect. God is moving you from bad to good to perfect. Now, this might sound like a big jump, but stay with me because this isn't just a feel good phrase. This is how God works. It is his pattern. It is God's process, and honestly, it's how he moves in our lives even when we do not recognize it at first. Can we just acknowledge that sometimes it's bad? It gets really, really bad. It gets confusing, it gets disappointing, it gets painful, it gets hurtful, it gets frustrating. When we look at other people's lives compared to our lives, the measuring yard is so far wide that we can't even imagine ourselves attaining such levels in life. And that keeps us in a very frustrating manner. We get in and out of that from time to time. That's the reality for some of us. That's we pray and nothing seems to be changing. We trust someone and then they let us down. We thought that by now our lives will be way better than it is. And it feels like we keep on repeating the same stage, the same class, the same level of life over and over and over again. But yes, the good news, even in that moment, God uses it for something good. God doesn't waste the bad. He doesn't waste the bad moment. He doesn't leave you there. He uses it as the first step in a story that's not finished yet. He uses it as a first step in a story that's not finished yet. The book of Genesis chapter 50 and 20 says, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for my good to accomplish what is now being done." That's Joseph talking to the very people who betrayed him. He's basically saying, you all meant this for harm, but God flipped it. So that was a bad chapter in Joseph's life when he was transitioning from the pit to Potiphar's house to the prison. And then it got good when he started interpreting dreams again. So maybe you are in a bad chapter in your life right now. Don't close the book. God is not done writing. Don't close the book. God is not done writing. For Joseph, when he started interpreting the dreams in the prison, then the good started unfolding. And for some of you, then comes the good. Then comes the good part. This is where the shift starts to happen. Maybe the storm didn't pass yet, but you're seeing growth in the middle of it. You're learning, you're healing, you're gaining clarity you didn't have before. You start to realize that God didn't actually forget you. He was forming something in you. And then you remember the book of Romans chapter 8 and 28 that says, "And we know that all things work together for good to those who love God and are according to his purpose." And then you begin to catch it. You begin to catch that in all things. Even the detours, even the delays, even the heartbreaks works together for good. God can take what was meant to break you and turn it into something that builds you. That's the power of good. It's not just comfort, it's transformation. But God doesn't just stop at good, he moves you into perfect. God doesn't just stop at where it's good, he moves you into perfect. Now, don't get it twisted. When we say perfect, we don't mean everything in your life will look flawless. We're talking about complete. season of completion, maturity, wholeness, in alignment with God's purpose. Let perseverance finish its good work in you by making you mature and complete and not lacking anything. God's goal isn't just to bring you out of the bad or to stop you at a few good moments. He wants you to walk into something perfectly timed, perfectly designed, perfectly fitting for the person you've become in the process, the person He's called you to be. The book of Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and 11 puts it beautifully. It says, He has made everything beautiful in its time. Not your time, not the timeline Instagram says you should be on, or the timeline your celebrity influencer, the person that you look at every day, when you have some free time, that celebrity, that one celebrity that you feel like that is your reincarnation on the other side of riches and wealth. Some of you know what I'm talking about. But that God's time is not working on that timeline. Not on that timeline, but on His perfect time. On His perfect time. So from bad to good to perfect is God's signature move in the life of every believer. So you see, if I were to paint a picture for you, that setback was the bad part, but it woke you up to something. That season of growth, that was the good part, where your character got stronger. That divine alignment, that's the perfect part, when it all comes together in ways only God could do. And this is how God builds testimony. This is how God builds your testimonies. This is how God builds you. So whichever of these chapters you may find yourself in right now, there is something that you've got to be doing. Stay honest with God. He can handle your frustrations. He can handle your confusions. He can handle your I don't get it moments. God can handle all of them. And keep showing up. Stay in prayer. Stay in the Word. Stay open. Growth happens when you're consistent in the quiet seasons. And then watch for the small shifts. Watch for when things start shifting, no matter how small they are. Don't miss the good just because it doesn't feel big yet. Sometimes the first sign is peace in the middle of the chaos. Sometimes that's the first sign that God is actually, things are shifting. God is actually shifting things. Because all of this has a good reason, has a good purpose. So if you're still in the bad, don't lose hope. If you're stepping into good, stay grounded. And when you reach the perfect moment, give God the glory, because He is the only one who can take your mess and make it into something that's nothing short of a masterpiece. And that is God's agenda for your life. That is God's agenda for your life. I hope that this reminds you that your journey is not random. There is a divine pattern at work. And even if you don't love where you are right now, you can trust that God is leading you somewhere beautiful. He's leading you somewhere very, very much beautiful. I believe that this message has been a blessing to your life. I know, and I believe it for you. You can text it, you can post it, you can write it in the comment section. From God is moving me from the bad to the good and to the perfect. From bad to good to perfect. That's how God does it. I'll catch you in the next video. Until then, take care of yourself. Stay safe and stay blessed. Bye.